Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing? Today I'm going to react to some reverse culture shocks listed here by TikiTube. Check her out, link down below. She's also on TikTok. Check that out. I got it all linked down below. Reverse culture shocks from moving back to America from Europe. I think this is quite a fascinating subject. I had never even heard about reverse culture shocks until about a year ago, and well, it's an interesting concept. Moving somewhere, you get culture shocks moving there, but then you move back. If you live there long enough, you move back, you get even more shocked coming back to where you came from. I lived like this with hair in my mouth. All right, let's do it. What did I just do?
So we just moved back to America after about 7 years in Europe, and we're having some
7 years.
major reverse culture shocks. So here we go. For some context, we lived in small town Germany for about 3 years, and then small town Italy for 3 years as well. And I know my hand is orange, by the way. I forgot to wash after self-tanning.
I didn't notice. That's the type of thing only a woman would notice, in my opinion, you know. But anyway. Germany and Italy, okay, good, nice diversity there.
Shocking to say because we're both from the Midwest, but it took us years to stop asking people how you are every time you see them. Hey, how are you? At the gas station, at the store, whatever. Because you don't typically do that, especially in Germany, unless you know someone. And now that we're back here and everyone is, hey, how are you? How's your day? I stop and I'm like, how am I? And I don't have a response. I'm not ready for it. It's not fluid anymore. And it's hard to get used to. And I can't believe I'm saying.
What a strange thing. I mean, I'm from the Midwest, so this is quite pertinent to me. You know, that's especially common in the Midwest and southern hospitality here in America. People just ask how you are, but it's not really that deep, usually. I mean, how deep it is basically is correlates with how deep your relationship with that person is. If you don't know them, then them asking how you are. Good, how are you? Honestly, it's kind of hard to fathom not just having that come right out. Good, how are you? Or just, how are you?
Saying that, but yeah, it's certainly weird. I know this is obvious because we lived in very affordable places, but we moved from Indiana to small town Germany to small town Italy to Washington, D.C.
This is perfect. I'm from Indiana.
We moved from Indiana to small town Germany to small town Italy to Washington, D.C. area. So the price of wine and coffee, the bar we lived above in Sicile, our last town, wine was $1.50 per glass. And now that we're here,
that sounds ridiculously cheap.
You walk around.
Oh my God, no wonder you guys drink so much in Europe. $1.50 a glass.
In the happy hour price for a glass of wine, you'll see $10 happy hour wine. And I'm like, oh my God. Shocking. While we're on the topic of alcohol, the size of shots here. Like if you order a shot of tequila.
This I have never heard, see? I love hearing stuff I've never heard anyone say. Little details. What is it? How can a shot be different? A shot is a shot.
It feels huge. I remember when we first moved to Germany, we had ordered 2 shots and they gave us like a teaspoon amount of tequila. And now that we're here, when we first got here, we went out and we ordered tequila shots and I had...
Hold on. A teaspoon? I wonder if she's being facetious. A teaspoon? That's extremely small. This is a stupid question, but do you guys use teaspoons like those measurements? I believe you do. Well, I don't know. But a teaspoon, I mean, we need something for reference, you know? There you go. How is that a shot? Like, what is that supposed to do? You'd barely even know whether you did it or not. It's barely enough liquid to even, like, swallow. I guess the main thing, I mean, being the way I am, I'd be like, I'm not paying more than like $2 for that. A teaspoon?
I've never been so accidentally drunk in my entire life. Being carded also is so weird.
That's really what shots are like for, almost. It's kind of stupid. That sounds really like immature, I guess, but drinking in America can be quite immature. The way people do it. But shots are like almost, it's like you want to get drunk quick. Okay. Do a few rounds of shots with some friends. I mean, by the third round, you are feeling it.
Because in Europe, like I've bartended in Europe and I didn't even have to ask 16-year-olds for their ID, you know?
Wow.
So it's weird to think about bringing your ID out and people asking for it and not seeing children in the bars anymore, which is nice. It was always weird to see kids at the bar, but yeah, definitely.
Kids are just allowed in the bar. Obviously, most countries have an age limit on alcohol. Are we talking like young kids, 10-year-olds in the bar? Wow. Here in America, at some bars, you'll get carded on your way in, meaning they'll check your ID. And the only kids in the bar are the ones with fake IDs.
Definitely strange. Refills. I remember when we first moved and we had ordered a Coke at dinner, and then they give you a can, and then you ask for another one, and they give you another can, and they charge you for each can or bottle or whatever you get. And now being here, I can't.
That is the first thing I've heard that sounds less environmentally conscious than America. In America, I mean, if you're at a restaurant, you get a glass and they reuse the glass, they wash it, and they'll fill it up. They'll just fill it up, they'll come by, take your glass, fill it up, bring it back. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's on purpose, but in that small way, hey, that's more environmental, right?
Really fathom needing 2 Cokes at dinner or 3 Cokes or 4, you know. I remember being younger and getting like 6 cherry Cokes with dinner.
Hell yeah.
But now it's like I have my one and I'm like, okay, I don't need
I mean, the way I look at it, I paid for it. I paid for the unlimited refills. I'm going to drink as much as I can, which is why I normally just order water. I don't want to put myself in that position to be a fat ass. But if I pay for it, you best believe I'm going to get my money's worth.
refill. Thanks. The speed of restaurant service here, it feels so fast coming from Europe. I remember when we first got there and we would sit at a table and like you'd be sitting for like half an hour before anyone even acknowledged that you were there or
Wow, I could see how some Americans might make a fool out of themselves. Start complaining. Because, I mean, you would have every right to complain here in America if it took half an hour. You would have every expectation. You'd almost deserve a free meal at that point if it took half an hour for them to even ask for your drink order.
brought you a menu or brought you drinks. And it
But
used
it's all just based, it's all relative, I guess.
to be, it was shocking, you know, because in America, you're trained to turn tables, get in and out, be able to get in a restaurant on your lunch break. I used to bartend in Germany and I had bartended and served in the States for years. And I remember serving these German guys and they had, you know, a quarter of a beer left. I was like, oh, would you like another beer? And they were like, no. And I was like, or no, not yet. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll be back. And, you know, they sat there for hours and their beer's warm and they finished their beer. And I came back and I was like, would you like another beer? And they're like, not yet. And they're like clearly irritated by me. And I was like, what's the deal? And I realized that the service style in Europe is just so slow and relaxed, and people go to a restaurant to enjoy their time.
That would be really hard to understand, to be honest. It's like being in her position, bartending. Because that's what that's considered great service here in America. If you're almost to the end of your drink or your beverage, whether it's a beer or whatever, if they say, would you like another? That's perfect. It's about to end. Give me some more. So how is that like insulting? I understand like the idea that sometimes Europeans feel like in America you're kind of being rushed out the door. Like, okay, come on, eat, pay the bill, leave. And I understand that as being insulting, potentially. But how is asking like, hey, do you want another beer insulting? Is that like being rushed? Or is it like you feel like you're being like sold to, kind of?
and they don't like to be harassed. So now coming back to the States, like I don't feel
Harassed.
harassed or bothered by it, but I definitely notice that it's like fast, fast, fast. Like, here's your drink, here's your order, here's your appetizer. All right, see you. Checks there before you even finish your food. So it's hard to get used to the flip side of that, but it was so much harder, I think, to get used to the slow service. This
I'm actually just genuinely curious about what the revenue difference looks like with those two different, styles. Because you would think, even though the American, in a lot of ways, sounds like the American way sounds more stressful, maybe not as enjoyable if you're trying to relax. If you're in a rush, then it sounds better. But if you're trying to like relax, then it sounds worse. But regardless of all that, getting people in and out, that's got to make more money, right? So I'd be curious to hear about the numbers, the actual numbers difference. That would be hard to compare because different restaurants are different prices, different capacities, all sorts of different stuff. So anyway, it would just be interesting.
speed limits and the highways, it just feels like you are crawling here. Germany has the Autobahn, and Italy, no one gives a shit about the speed limit, so it's
What?
kind of a free for all. Like coming here and hitting a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit on the highway is 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 shocking. It is a culture shock. It feels so slow. Okay, and last one.
I could see that being one of the biggest ones. I could see that being one of the biggest ones. Because it's even that way when you're just driving and you go from the highway to the city streets. Sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I'm going so slow. Imagine going to Germany on the Autobahn, going 100 miles an hour on a daily basis and coming back here. And it's a similar type of highway and you have to go half as fast. That's wild. Because to me, it feels fast, but it's all relative.
One for now is not needing cash everywhere, like in at least in small town Italy and Germany, in cities too. You need cash. Like if you buy a coffee or a water bottle or something is under €2 or €3, they don't want to run their card. But it's actually so opposite here. There's so many places that don't even accept cash anymore. So I don't think we've had an American dollar out of the ATM actually since we've been here, but we still have euros left over because we had to have them everywhere. Let me know.
Yeah, I don't have any cash in my wallet, and I haven't I'll get it every once in a while. It's actually pretty rare. Like, I'll get cash out maybe if I want to go gamble or something at the casino once a year. Because you kind of need cash for that. Apart from that, if you're going to like some food trucks, nowadays they mostly accept card, but maybe you bring some cash.
Know if I should make a part two because there are so many. I feel like America has changed so much in the 7 years
Yeah.
that we were gone, but also we have too. So
That is what I was thinking about, the $10 glasses of wine. This was uploaded a year ago. She'd been gone for 7 years. Maybe 4 years ago, it would have been a $6 glass of wine. Not even kidding. But yeah, that's fascinating. Go check out her channel. That was really good. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.